Hello everybody, welcome to the 9th robot1 video. I am T, and today we are going to be going over opening this in Freecad, a step file in Freecad, and then we're just going to be continuing to design the robot1 project, the robot1 robot. And so we are on Ubuntu, the operating system. It runs on the Linux kernel. And I'm just setting up chat here. If you have any questions, put them in chat or put them in the comments. And so yeah, so when I was opening this step file, just first thing, it would give me an error. Freecad would give me an error that said you cannot, thing is not responding, Freecad's not responding, and I was like, oh, it's not working, and I still thought it wasn't working, so I re-downloaded it because it said that was reinstalled it because it said that was a potential solution, and it still was doing that, and so I was like, oh, it's not working, and then when I was about to start this stream, it was just sitting there. And then even with that error message, I just let it up and then it eventually loaded. So this is the step file of the Scuttle Robot 3.1, right? This is what we're kind of using as a benchmark, I guess, to help design the one that we're working on. So that's that. Now let's get to where we are in the design, and I don't know what all these are. What are all these? This is ridiculous. I don't know how these got there. This is like it's VI or whatever. So like Vim is like something that's pretty, it's easy to use. It's a very simple text editor. Maybe I shouldn't say it's easy to use. There's a learning curve, but Vim is a text editor popular with programmers. And so these are just notes for where we are in, where we are in the project. I expect I'm going to be taking better notes because this project I work on sort of intermittently. It can be hard to remember where I am, and it's actually very easy if I just write a little thing at the end. Excuse me. But yeah, so let's get our spreadsheet open here because we got a lot of stuff there. Whoops. There's too many of these open. So I have a spreadsheet. And we've just been working on, what we're working on today is just this. This is what we've been working on, right? We're working on where the wheels connect to the frame. I think David of the Scuttle Robots project, I think he said that this was the hardest or most complicated part of this whole design, right? And I think he was speaking about mechanically. And so I don't remember if when I was started to design this bot or think about it or whatever, I was like, oh, keep that in mind and maybe start with it first. Or if I was just like, this is what I start, like, it's what made sense, right? Because we need the weight to, the whole reason I wouldn't just use this for the the purpose that I want to use it for is that I think I need a higher capacity is the goal, right? We're looking to carry a little more weight than the scuttle is designed for. And so I'm kind of confused why there isn't a motor right here. Maybe I just can't see it. Oh yeah, okay, there it is. Let's look at, is there a top view? All right, so bottom is the side. So rear is the top view. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. So anyway, this is what we've been focusing on. Maybe I'll step away. It's just like, this is kind of like the hardest thing to figure out. This is the thing, right? Because if we're going to buy wheels, right, assuming we're not going to design a wheel, which is like, to me, the most complicated mechanical part of this thing. Everything else here is pretty stationary, but wheels have bearings. Bearings help it move, right? Or make it move. They're the reason it moves, maybe you could say. So I wanted to get this step file, and maybe we'll look at how to work with step files here, since this is the first time I've seen an assembly on Freecad. I was watching tutorials about like how to build a part and stuff, but I haven't gotten further than that. So maybe I'll probably be watching those more, and I'll be able to come back with more stuff. But today it's just pretty hacky. Like, this is just the putting one foot in front of the other. What do we have? What can we move forward on type? Video/stream. It's going to be slow and clunky. So if that's not your style, it's probably not the stream for you. All right, so here I have some screws, right? Assuming that I was going to go with the same model. This is research I've done that would be for the same model. None of this is posted anywhere yet. I'm not against posting it somewhere, I just haven't. And so, can I drag these parts? Interesting. Okay, so some information pops up here on the left. Like, this is just so much. Seems like every different surface is selectable. Maybe we can get somewhere with short tutorials today. How to work with step files in Freecad. $13 minutes. I really want to look for one that's like shorter than this. I think we're gonna go with this because, maybe because there's no one here right now. That's kind of a silly thing to say, but I don't know if that's. Let's just see what we can do. Importing step to Freecad.
Into Freecad, I'm going to import it in.
Do we have sound? Let's see. We should have sound.
To here and show you kind of what we can do with it and the limitations of jumping between CAD packages.
I need new hardware is the moral of this story here, because I'm using
so to import a step file or
two different bits of hardware.
An STL file, it's really
I'm gonna just go with something
simple. I've shown you before in a previous tutorial.
Solve sound all day. And copy that.
Welcome back to another video. Today we're back in
Freecad,
Freecad, and I wanted to show you something that you might find useful when you download models off the web and you want to make a few changes to them. I'll show you how to import a step or STL file consisting of multiple parts, how we can split those parts up, and how we can scale them uniformly with a rough idea of their size. Okay, so this is Fusion 360, and this is something I designed as a prototype for my Raptor 2 project a few months back. You can actually learn more about this on my channel.
Nope. Not going to deal with that all day, so let us... It's driving me nuts. Just realized my other sound is not here. Alright. Going to be going over opening this in Freecad, the step file in Freecad, and then we're just going to be continuing to design the robot1 project,
If you haven't watched
the robot1 robot.
Videos.
And so we are on Ubuntu, the operating system. All right, I have sound now.
Go take a look at Raptor 2. You might find it pretty interesting. So obviously this has been designed
I'm
from
just
scratch.
gonna have to tell you what's what. The setup will get better here. I'm just like moved recently, so everything's, you know how moving goes. Things are just, not everything's perfectly set up.
Scratch in Fusion 360, and we can see that everything in here is its own component. So we've got a base here which I can separate, and everything is unique, and we can move it.
Everything is its own component. That's what he just said. So what he said that, and that just made me go, oh, I'll go to model rather than tasks. And it looks like this is lots of things. So can I pull this window down? I can. Okay. Oh, and that's cool. I can see what things are named by clicking on them, right? I clicked on extrusion. That's that. Let's click on this. That's the wheel bracket. Okay. So the first thing that comes to my mind right now is I want to take these parts and I want to get them in Freecad. So I think the reason I wanted to get step files working, I think now that I'm thinking about it, sort of reverse engineering where I am in this project, is I think these, when I copy this link that I saved, I think these are available as step files, right? So if I can start to grab these as step files and fit them together in Freecad, that'll help me do a visual thing for my design. So we were just using Scuttle to, well, you kind of see what we're using for it, but I had a Scuttle step file, so Scuttle's an open source robotics project that is helpful. Okay, so that's wheels. I wanted something more specific. I'm not reading what I have in this spreadsheet right now because that's gonna use my brain in ways that I don't want to be using it. But this looks like a thing. All right, so you see it has. So I go into this link, right? This is a specific. This is a wheel. This is I think the wheel that we were talking about using, and over here, this is McMaster.com. This is where a lot of parts, mechanical parts are. Over here, it has 3D SolidWorks, and I can go step, and I can download this, and so we're gonna do that, and we are going to download it into home, desktop, robot1. Master parts. Maybe we already have this. Would it be a replace situation? Let's see. Let's see if we can. So I still don't really understand how Freecad works, right? Learning by using, learning by doing. That's what's happening right now. And so we're going to go to that same location. I don't know what all that business is about. What is this? I think that's what I saved. Make master parts. Let's just open these with, let's open with Freecad. So a way to open stuff with Freecad, if you have it on Ubuntu, right? If it's just called Freecad, you just type Freecad in your terminal. And then you do, so the only thing in this folder, where are we? See, we're in this folder, this directory. The only thing here are these two things. We're just going to do Freecad star. Star kind of just means everything, for lack of a, I'm not going to go into Linux commands here right now, but it says it's not responding. And so this is why I thought it just wasn't working. But we're just going to give it a minute, see what happens. What are we going to do during that? We are going to... Looks like it works. Alright, zooming out here. This looks... Okay. Okay. Now, so I have two separate things here, right? This is a wheel. This is a bolt, and so I want these two models on the same plane, right? I want these in the same picture. So we're just I'm gonna see if I can do that real quick. Oh, I keep forgetting chat's over here in the corner. No one's here. I think, I'm kind of wondering if people haven't been joining the streams just because I'm doing too many projects and the YouTubes doesn't know what to do with me, who to show me to. Okay. So, how to get two parts onto the same page in Freecad. That's what we're going to search. And I know page is probably not the correct term, but that's what learning this stuff is. You just two separate parts onto the same page in Freecad 1. How to combine the bodies into one. This is great. 52 seconds.
Sometimes you need to combine several bodies into one. You can do it in the following way.
Sounds like an AI. It sounds like an AI.
Create a new body, then select the first body and click on Shape Binder. Then do the same with the second body.
Create a new body, click Shape Binder. Is that what it said? Let's see, how do we create a body? Can't select both of those at the same time. Right click. That's not a thing. So let's just back up. We'll do body in Freecad. How to create a body in Freecad. Excellent, 2 minutes. In my experience, reading a book and then doing short tutorials and then trying to do stuff is the best way to do a software. I learned software. I wasted way too much time when I learned to edit video watching long tutorials. You always want to watch as short a tutorial as possible. Piece by piece, bit by bit.
Hello
have a long
everyone.
tutorial on in the background while you do something, but if you're like focused in front of a
Today
computer,
we are going to learn basic Freecad tutorial how
this
to
person has a
create a
very
body.
strong accent.
To create body, you can go to part design, click create new, and then change into part design. In the text tab, you can see the create body icon. You can click, then create sketch. I will choose a top plane.
Right, so this is the whole parametric design thing, right? He said create body, create sketch. Put the subtitles on here, I guess. Right, and then you like do stuff on this plane. This is a sketch plane, and then it'll change things on the other plane. Like it'll do it in like a 3D mode on the other one.
And we draw
I don't know if this
circle.
is what we
I
need
will
right
choose
now.
a top plane, and we draw circle as example.
Right, he's gonna draw a
Convert into
circle,
3D.
right, and then he goes to this other plane
Convert into 3D.
with the pad thing, and
Go
then
to
he makes
body
it bigger.
001 again. I will draw rectangle and
He's gonna
then
do the
choose
same thing.
create
But how do I
subdivision.
make those separate
Go
things that are already
Tutorial
things
how to create below
together? All right, so let's try a
this
different
video.
method. We're gonna do sorry, I'm just trying to get out of this. I like use too many different types of computers right now. So let's go with how to put two step files into the same model in Freecad. Different step files into the same model in Freecad. I'm not sure which one of these. I'm going to do this one pretty much just because it's shorter. Importing and editing, I don't think this is.
Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to show you how you can import and edit STL files in Freecad. This is always good to know because sometimes if you find a file on Thingiverse, you might want to make a few changes to it, and this will allow you to do that. So let's take a
I
look.
said how to import and edit.
So we've got an empty workspace here, and the first thing we need to do is go up to File,
These are STL files, so it's different.
Import,
Maybe it'll be the
and
same.
select whichever STL you want to import into Freecad. Just going to hit open. So this is just a part that I designed inside of Fusion 360 for my 3018 CNC machine. Given that it's in an STL format, we can make changes to it here, but we are going to be limited in what we can change. We can do simple stuff like add holes or add extrusions to this, but if we wanted to truly make changes to it, we'd have to import it as a step file, which I'm going to make a separate video about. First, we need to convert this into a editable object. So currently we
Okay, he's saying he's going to make a separate video if you do that for a step file. Let's see, let's go to this person's channel. It's the second video that's popped up. We're going to look at Freecad for beginners. Let's see. All right. We're going to try this one.
Welcome
and
back
then
to another video.
think if we just get held up here, I'm just going to have to go back and work on my own.
Today we're
just
back
going
in
to go backwards.
Freecad, and I wanted to show you something that you might find
Learn more of
useful
the
when you
basics.
download models off the web and you want to make a few changes to them. I'll show you how to jumping between CAD packages. So to import a step file or an STL file, It's really simple. I've shown you before in a previous tutorial. You just come up to File, Import. You want to go to the location where you saved the step file. In this case, I'm already here, so I'm going to hit Open. So as you can see, we've imported this model in. It looks exactly the same, but we've lost a lot of our information, as I said, in regard to sketches and our dimensions. You'll see that it's imported it up here as a part. Now if we click this drop down, you'll see all the different components that I had in Fusion 360. So if I come back, you can see we've got base, 480 kV motor, a bunch of spurs, pinions and belts. So if we come back, you can see we've also got that here now in Freecad. Often when you come across a 3D model online, if the person has exported it correctly, 9 times out of 10 they'll provide a step file, which will enable you to have things broken down like this, which makes it a lot easier to make changes or use parts
The
of the
subtitles
design
are really good.
in your own project. As I mentioned in my previous Freecad for Beginners series, it's very good practice to have each piece of the model its own part or its own component. And in Fusion 360, you'll notice that I did have 2 components here, but I left a lot of these as bodies. So that's translated.
He said it's useful to have each one as its own part. We have that.
Across
Great.
over to Freecad.
How
To
do I
keep
do
our
the
good
other?
practice,
How do I
we
get
can
them
easily
together?
convert this spur here into a part by clicking on the spur, come up to create part, then we can just drag the spur onto it, and now we've got the spur
Oh, interesting.
inside a part as opposed to being its own individual body. And you can do that
Okay, let's see.
inside a part, then we can just convert the spur here into a
He
part
takes-
by clicking on the spur.
This is kind of the opposite of what I want to do, but I want to see how to do this.
Keep our good practice, we can easily convert the spur here
you
into
take
a
a part.
part by clicking on the spur, come up to create part,
And then we do create part. Let's do that.
we can just drag the
Let's do that real quick. So I'm gonna go into this one, and I'm gonna do bracket drive R. We could do drive R, and then how about do this, and then I'll do. Where's the create part thing? It doesn't. He has a different. There it is up there. Create part. Drive R. Awesome. Let's see. It's really enjoyable knowing how to learn this for me. I mean, when I help into something and it's not obvious how to do and it's just kind of difficult, and I'm like, I see the potential, whatever. It's like, ooh, it's exciting. It's something with a deep learning curve that has a lot of practical value. Okay, I created a part there, I think, right? That little bar moved. I don't know where that part is. It's down here. Okay. What do we do then? I want to. How do I get this part onto its own page? Let's see.
spur onto it, and now we've got the spur inside a part as opposed to being its own individual body. Now we've got the spur inside a part
disappear.
then we can just drag the spur onto it, and now we've got the spur inside a part as opposed.
Dragged something onto the thing. Drag something onto it, and then what's this? Is he removing the visual? So that didn't work for me, but that's because do I have to drag it? I don't really understand, right? Drive. Wow. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, can I drag the drive onto the part? Does that work? Okay, let's see. Now, I can make that disappear there. I can also make it disappear there. Where is... Okay, that was the right drive. Drive, left, drive. Okay, I can do that. Okay, that doesn't really do... I don't know if that really did much. Okay. I don't know what to do with that. Didn't really do... I don't know how to use that yet. Okay, whatever.
Opposed to being its own individual body. And you can do that for all of them. So I'm going to do that really quickly. Okay, so now just like Fusion 360, we've got everything here in separate components or separate parts. And just like here, they're all separate. We can separate each of them. Now
Okay, but Yeah, I want to be able to get that on its own page.
Freecad.
So maybe I'll learn that later. Movable parts. Correcting model orientation, scaling, create sketches, dimension guide. Disadvantages of scaling. Let's watch for a minute. We'll see if any of this. I think it's going to be early in this video. If
I showed you in the previous.
If it's what we want, which is to put those, which would be to put two parts. Like I said,
tutorials
earlier,
in the beginner series, you can
together.
hit space, and that'll hide certain parts of the model. What you'll tend to in the now in Freecad, if I select one of these, just like I showed you in the previous tutorials in the beginner series, we can hit space, and that'll hide certain parts of the model. What you'll tend to notice as well when
Spacebar is the key to
you import models like this is that they're no longer connected, right? So in Fusion 360, the motors are secured to this frame using a joint, so the motor can spin and it won't move anywhere. Whereas in Freecad, for example, if I go up to the left motor here and I right click transform, if I just drag one of these, I can move it anywhere I want. And the reason for that is because you lose that information such as sketches, joints, and alignment when you transfer between these CAD packages. Sketches, these I can move it anywhere. Whereas in
let's see.
click transfer, for example,
So
if I go up to the
you just showed me how to move a part off a thing. So I'm learning stuff that I want to know how to do. It's not the specific goal right now, but I'm stopping because it's good to know how to do this, which is to move the part off the design.
Left motor here and I right click transform. If I just drag one of these,
so right click on the part and then transform. Let's see. Whoops. Right click and then transform. And then we are going to move it off. So these arrows help me move it, I guess. I don't know, and that helps me rotate it. I don't know what that did. This similarly helps me rotate it. And then what's this blue one do? Okay, let's move it up that way. Okay, the squares move it anywhere. The other squares move it anywhere. The other squares move it anywhere. Okay.
I can move it anywhere I want. And the reason for that is because you lose that information such as sketches, joints, and alignment when you transfer between these CAD packages.
I should link this video since we used it a lot.
So we'd have to recreate this inside of Freecad, and what I'm going to do in a future video is show you exactly how you can do that, how you can take more complex models like this, bring all these parts together, make them, have them all.
I don't think this is a hit. This video is not going to help me do it, so did I learn any words? Did we learn any words that part? So I'm wondering, yeah, right, how to combine two parts. We're still sort of in the same thing. So maybe if we just play around here, we have, in this model, we have two separate things. Can we highlight both of them and then right click? No. Can we highlight both of them and then do create part? And then with this part, can we drag? I'm just going to drag. Uh-oh. Where'd that go? We're just going to drag it into the part. Did it let me do that? Is it lagging? What's going on? Drag into the part. I'm trying to drag it every which way here. Okay, now it's lagging. Okay. I think it did that. Okay, so that might just be a slow thing. Interesting. Wow, okay, it did the thing. It created the part. Excellent. Okay. Oh, all right, where am I going here? I gotta successfully made a part from two separate pieces. Just a little note, didn't spell separate right. Okay, excellent. Awesome. Okay, so this is so the idea behind this is the same, I think, as the Scuttlebot, right? This is what we're working towards here. Is this here, this is gonna screw into the wheel hub or the wheel, right? The wheel structure housing thing. This, you see how it's the down here it's threaded and up here it's smooth. This smooth is going to rotate, and so in here you have a bunch of bearings, right? Which are basically little. Well, there's little balls. There's different types of bearings. Perhaps there's ones that are more have flat edge, whatever. But and they roll around this flat part, and then that's what allows the wheel to turn. And so now what I want to do is I'm just trying to get a view that I like here. So now what I want to do is I want to know how far these threads go up. And it looks like, is this the end of them here? I'm trying to see this. It looks like this is the end. So this should rotate well, right? And then I don't know. I think I need like a new mouse. I need to change some settings. This is not as, it's a little messy. So I do want to, in the model, I want to take this part and I want to slide it down. So we just learned that too. So I'm going to right click it. I'm going to transform, and then I'm going to slide it down. Just because, right, like we don't need this all the way out here. You don't want a big thing sticking out of the wheel. So I don't know how to make it like sort of flush with that part. I guess it just, when it starts to go that line through, that is that green line right here, this little space, right? I think that's where the bolt is pushing. You know, it's not, physics is not going to allow for that. Something's going to break or crack. So I think that's correct. I'm trying to confirm that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe that's for another video. And so we're going to have all this space over here on the other side of the wheel. And that, right, like I don't know if we need a bolt this big, but we're just trying to get something done here. Just get something built. And so this is just so excellent. I'm just going to save this real quick. Robot1. That's fine. We can name it there. Well, if this is going to work. Is this even going to work? I kind of feel like it's not. We'll see. Robot1 wheel and shaft. What's it called? The shaft. I forget what the thing is called. The thing that goes the axle. Wheel and axle. I will do save. And now we're going to try and open this real quick to see if I can even get back here, because I am a noob with this. And we're going to have... Where is it? It's in here. This is a mess. And so this is already a problem, right? Like I don't know. This is a like. This is stupid. I'm gonna move it back a directory, and then I'm gonna do. How do I open Freecad projects? We'll move it. All right, and then we'll do wheel on axle. So what? I can only extract open with. All right, we're gonna run the same thing. We're gonna do Freecad, and then we're just gonna run star. We'll open everything in the thing, in the directory, and then we have our thing. Okay, excellent. So I think I was even told this, and I just forgot it 'cause it's been so long since I've looked at this stuff, unfortunately. So this, you don't, apparently, I guess you just don't, what type of file is this called? This is called a FCSTD file. These files are not extracted. They're open as their they're open, well, you know, when they're compressed or whatever it's called. You just open them before you unzip them. Okay, excellent. Okay. I'm gonna do some housekeeping while I think about what we're gonna do next. Where was that directory? I'm just cleaning up my mistakes. We're going to delete that entire thing. Hopefully it's nothing super important. Probably not. It's probably one of these FCSTD files. Yeah, this one too. What a mess. It's great to clean stuff up though. Clean those up later. Excellent. Okay, what is next? I think that's going to be it for today. Please put your questions or ideas in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next